Here we go! Welcome to the Nintendo Power Zone. We are a video cast / podcast dedicated to bringing you the best Nintendo-related topics. And guys, we are continuing our 3 weeks of E3 with our second show. And this show is going to be fantastic because we are going to run down the Pokemon Direct and all the news that came out of that 15-minute showcase. And after that, we're going to do our annual E3 prediction show. So without further ado, let's introduce today's co-host. Today we have Blues, and man, welcome to the show. Are you ready to talk more Pokemon?
I'm always ready for talking Pokemon.
All right, so yeah, we really shouldn't dilly-dally that much because it was a short direct, but
15 minutes about.
Yeah, but it was plenty to talk about. So we might as well just go ahead and we'll start with the characters that they showcase. So obviously we have our male trainer, female trainer, not a big deal. But they did get a little description for them, so let's go ahead and
read
that off.
Yeah.
So you have your male character, your female character. Basically, if you're looking at the Pokemon.com website, you see that customizations are back, so you can pick your character's skin tone. They didn't add any new skin tones from Sun and Moon, which is kind of a bummer. But I mean, these 4 skin tones each are pretty representative of most everybody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the guy on the bottom right corner, so the light-skinned Hispanic-looking one. Although, with the way I've been spending outside this summer, I might have to go a shade darker. Getting dark this year. Anyway, so yeah, it says you can choose how you want to look at the beginning of your adventure, and that's pretty much it for the trainer character. So who's next? We have our Professor Magnolia. You have her description up?
Yes. No, I'm at the main character description right now because I was told to do the main character. This is not the easiest to navigate. So then Magnolia here, boom.
Yes.
So she's another female professor. I think the only one we've had since Unova with Professor Juniper. She's older, it seems as well, than Professor Juniper. It says that Professor Magnolia is the preeminent Pokemon professor of the Galar region. Her main focus research has been the Dynamax phenomenon, which I'm sure we'll talk about later on. She shares her home with Sonia, who is her, I believe, granddaughter and one of your rivals and her assistant, and has given her a certain research task.
Glad to have a female professor back. I mean, I like her cane. She's got like, I guess that's a Pidgey or...
I think that's one of the new Pokemon that was, Cronite? Scronite? What was his name? I've already forgotten.
I thought you were about to say Scrotum.
No.
We'll get to the Pokemon in a bit.
All I really care about is Wooloo. Corviknight. It's Corviknight.
Corviknight. All right. All right. So next up we have Leon, who is the current champion of the Galar region and has never been defeated in an official Pokemon battle. His personality, together with his peerless skill, has made him extremely popular. He truly deserves the title of greatest trainer in all of Galar. I like this guy's flashy furry cape. It's weird, but he looks like a Pokemon Go trainer because he's got shorts with the leggings still.
He kind of reminds me a bit of Kukui for some reason, actually.
A little bit.
It's maybe something with the face, but like also how he holds himself. I feel he holds himself in a way similarly to Kukui. One thing I find kind of cool about his design is that he has a sword and shield on his shirt underneath the jacket and cape.
Yeah, I'm actually really feeling those sneakers. I think I need a pair of those.
Right? Yeah, I would love to see like a collaboration with like Nike or Adidas make those.
Yeah, they never hook us up with anything good.
They don't though. Yeah.
All right. So next up, we should probably go ahead and talk about Sonia.
She is the professor's assistant that we mentioned earlier.
Yes. Her official bio states she is the granddaughter of Professor Magnolia. She is Leon's childhood friend. She is also a young researcher who serves as assistant to Professor Magnolia. She's very knowledgeable and will offer helpful advice to aid you on your adventure. Like her design, like I like the hair with like the little hearts pinned in. I like how she has her glasses just up on her
head. Yeah,
the glasses tiara essentially. The boots are dope.
Yeah, like I just really like her design, but there's not even a whole lot. It's just a bit of attention to detail here and there with the hair and the glasses and things. You can also, if you look close, you can see that she has one of the Dynamaxing bracelets that we've seen.
Yeah, you can see the same on Leon as well.
Yes.
All right, and last but not least, we have Hop.
Yes, who was your rival for this game.
Yeah.
Or at least one of. They do say plural.
Yes. Hop is Leon's younger brother and will become one of your rivals. He and you are neighbors, and you will begin your journeys on the same day. He aims to become champion just like his older brother did. So, I really like Hop's design because
I love his jacket.
It's similar to Leon's. Like
with the fur.
Yeah, they definitely look related, like their skin tones, their facial features. But you can see that he carries himself in a completely different manner than Leon, where Leon stands tall and confident. Hop, he's got his hands in his pocket. Shoulders slumped. Doesn't have as much style when it comes to his sneakers. They don't even match what he's wearing. Boy needs to step his shoe game up. But yeah, I like his design though. Like he almost looks opposite of what Leon looks like. So that is very cool. So those are the characters that we've been introduced to thus far. But we have one more one, and that's the gym leader. So let's go ahead and pull up. This is the official description for the gym leaders. There are stadiums that hold Pokemon gyms throughout the Galar region. Each gym attracts Pokemon trainers that are experts in specific type. In order to challenge the champion, you and your rivals will need to defeat the top trainer for each Pokemon gym, who is known as the gym leader. The battles with these gym leaders often involve intense clashes between Dynamax Pokemon. Spectators will flock to the gym stadiums to view these battles, and the matches are broadcast on television as well. We're going to talk about that second part of that in a little bit, but let's go ahead and talk specifically about Milo. So Milo, the steroid junkie, as I'm liking to call him right now.
He's built, yeah.
He looks like he's related to Krillin because he doesn't seem to have a nose. Shout out to all my Dragon Ball fans.
Yeah, he's got a kind of weird face based off that. Yeah, I don't know why his face just looks off because he doesn't have a nose, like Voldemort. I don't know why.
So Milo is one of the gym leaders of the Galar region. He has a kind heart and is well liked by the trainers of his gym. His credo is to always enjoy battles, and he specializes in endurance matches using grass-type Pokemon. So, confirmed, gym leaders, no longer trial captains. So we're going back to the tried and true. I think this kind of stems from the fact that we have the more traditional Pokemon team assigned to making this game, whereas the Pokemon B team was did Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. So we see that there are some differences between how each design team is going to take the Pokemon franchise.
Yes.
All right, next up we have our Pokemon. We got a good number of Pokemon today. Not including the starters, which we've already seen, but we have
about 5 and then 2 legendaries.
We did. So 7 total. So the first up is Gossifleur.
Yes,
I love how her name is
the design.
Yes, but I feel like the name is name is very similar. It's like a Kalos Pokemon naming wise.
Yeah, like Florges, the flower, final evolution of Flabebe and Floette. It's floor. That word floor gets that sort of Kalos vibe for sure. Yeah, it's not even a fairy type. I don't get it.
All right, so the category is the flowering Pokemon type grass. Height 1 foot 4 inches, weight 4.9 pounds, ability Cotton Down and Regenerator. So we've got a couple of little things here. Its pollen has a healing effect. Gossifleur prefers land with clean water and air, and its pollen has a healing effect. Its pollen works on people too, and it used to be a common folk medicine remedy for children of the Galar region to be given a tea made from its pollen when they fell ill. I love how they always do these real world applications of Pokemon. Yeah, I'm just gonna give you my seeds or my pollen.
Yeah, no, but it really is a nice touch though. One thing to note on the page here is that she, I think, is the only one with a new ability that we have not seen yet. She has the ability Cotton Down, which so far is exclusive to Gossifleur and its evolution. And I'm really curious to see what that sort of will do. Right now, it doesn't seem to see. Hang on. I'm playing the Pokemon TCG in the background. I gotta figure out what my move is here.
Well, while we do that, let's go ahead and talk about its secondary thing. It's secondary part of the description. It moves with the wind. Gossifleur travels over long distances by getting blown along by the wind. It controls the direction of its travels by twisting its body and petals. That seems very much like a Pokedex description. So Very cool. And then I love the little image that's attached with it, where we do in fact see overworld Pokemon.
Yeah, with Gossiflors all over the overworld there. Yes.
So love that. All right. So Gossiflor does have an evolution, as you said, and its name is
Edelgos.
Edelgos. Yes. Man, that's a weird name.
Yeah,
This is a weird evolution. About it. All right. So
I think it's a middle evolution. It's got to be because it's the Dandelion Puff, but. Also, once a Dandelion puffs, there's not really a stage after it, so I don't know.
All right, so
it's weird.
Its category is the Cotton Bloom Pokemon, type grass, height 1 foot 8 inches, weight 5.5 pounds. Also has the abilities of Cotton Down and Regenerator. All right, so its description goes as follows: its Cotton Fluff protects it from its enemies. When Gossiflor evolves into Eldegoss, its head becomes covered in thick cotton fluff. This cotton fluff serves as a cushion, helping to protect Eldegoss's head from damage. Very cool ability. I like that. Like visually, I would love to see how they're going to translate that. And moving on, it has highly nutritious seeds. The tiny seeds attached to the cotton fluff are said to be highly nutritious and beneficial to both people and Pokemon. Eldegoss spreads these seeds throughout the region by sending them on the wind, making the soil of the Galar region rich in nutrients. Again, these are great little like Pokédex descriptions.
Yeah,
wouldn't be surprised if they're verbatim for at least one version of the game.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, at least very, very similar. Yeah.
Now I gotta admit, I love this next Pokemon, Wooloo. First off, I love the name. So Wooloo is the sheep Pokemon. It's a normal type. Its height is 2 feet tall. Its weight is 13.2 pounds. Its ability are Fluffy and Run Away. So, with an extremely fluffy body, the white fur that covers their bodies grows throughout their lives and will fully grow back in 3 months, even if the Wooloo has been completely shorn. The fur is used for clothing and carpets and the like. It is very popular and as a specialty product of the Galar region. So, Leon's costume, his little
cape, probably made of that. Yeah. And the inside of Hop's jacket, probably as well.
Oh yeah, you gotta have that liner, especially like up in Europe, the upper parts of Europe where it's cold.
Yeah, so cold.
Totally makes sense. All right, so Wooloo is a friendly Pokemon that craves stability. Wooloo live as a herd and mimic the actions of their trainer or herd leader. They dislike conflict, and if they need to escape from enemies, they will simply roll away. I would love to see that. Just rolling on their side,
like just roll away. I laughed when I read that the first time. It was great. Fluffy has been an ability, I think, exclusive to the Beware and Stuffle line up until now. There's a very similar ability that Furfrou has, and I really wish it got the Furfrou ability Fur Coat instead, because I think specifically that ability means you can dress it up. Because with Furfrou, you could dress it up in different ways, give it haircuts, and this is the perfect Pokemon to give a haircut to. So I'm kind of upset I can't dress up my my Wooloo. Love the name.
All right, so next,
but it captured my heart. I love it.
I love the design. It's a fun design. Plus, it's a way better looking sheep Pokemon than the
Mareep.
Yeah,
it's cuter Mareep, really.
All right, next up we have a really badass design for a Pokemon, Corviknight. Yeah. So Corviknight is the Raven Pokemon. So it's giving me like Spearow vibes, but like if Spearow was covered in armor.
Yeah.
Speaking of being covered in armor, its typing is Flying Steel. Its height is 7 foot 3 inches. Jesus, this is a big bird Pokemon. Its weight is 165.3 pounds. Its ability are Pressure and Unnerve. So I'm starting to think that Corviknight might be the final evolution of a Pidgey Spearow evolution tree like thing.
Either that or it's a standalone, like say Skarmory was.
All right, so Corviknight is the dashing lord of the skies. It is said that Corviknight is the strongest Pokemon living in the skies of the Galar region. It can often be seen fearlessly soaring through the air. Many say that the Pokemon foolish enough to challenge Corviknight are sent running with just a sharp glare and a cry from this fearsome Pokemon. So, one of the tidbits they gave us within the direct itself was that Corviknight can be used as a taxi. So he can travel from any town that you've been to before. So the official description is Corviknight possesses superb flying skills and high intelligence. Because of this, many of them work for the company called Galar Taxi, helping to transport people from town to town. Very much like the Kalos region with the
Now,
goat
there were
Pokemon.
taxis in Kalos, and that's what I wanted to bring up. There were not only taxis, you could ride on Skidoos and Go-Goats, and all throughout Lumio City, there were many different modes of transportation. But this seems different.
Well, I mean, because it was
like,
exclusive to Lumio City in
yeah.
that game.
Whereas you travel from town to town with Corviknight in the Galar taxi service. I know. So is this going to be something that's just basically the ride Pokemon from Sun and Moon, and you just summon your Charizard to fly you, but it's Corviknight taxi service? Or will it be something you have to actually pay for? Because in the X and Y games, you had to pay for the taxis.
You did.
And is it going to replace Fly, or can we still use Fly? Like, I need these answers because I want to know what's going on with the fast travel service.
I agree. Well, we'll find out soon, man. November's not that far away.
Yeah.
All right.
Last Pokemon from the main ones.
We have Dreadnought.
Yes.
Its category is the bite Pokemon. Its typing is Water Rock. Weird typing. I've never really liked the Water Rock typing.
It's popular though. There's like all of the fossils that are Water Rock.
Yeah, but they suck.
Yeah, they're not bad. They're just weak to grass. Grookey will have
They're double weak to grass, man. All right. So its height is 3'3". Its weight is 254.6 pounds. This is a heavy Pokemon. Its ability is Strong Jaw and Shell Armor. So it has powerful jaws.
Those are really good abilities, especially the Strong Jaw. I believe only Tantrum and Mega Sharpedo have that ability, to my knowledge. There might be one more from X and Y that I'm forgetting. X and Y, Sun and Moon that I'm forgetting, but I believe those are the only Pokemon that have this ability. It's really cool. And then Shell Armor, it's a very common ability to shelled Pokemon. Just stops crits. It's good, solid, nothing special.
This almost looks like it was rejected as a starter design.
I could see that for sure, yeah.
Totally looks like it was a starter Pokemon initially, and then they went with Sobble instead.
It looks like Squirtle, but edgier, like actually physically with more edges.
I'm getting more toward the Turtwig.
Torterra, okay, yeah.
Turtwig vibes.
Yeah. I could see that.
Just because it looks a lot more sturdy than Squirtle ever did.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So it has powerful jaws and muscles. The sharp, jagged fangs of the bite Pokemon Dreadnought are strong and sharp enough to bite through rock and iron. Though it has an extremely heavy rock shell, its well-developed muscles allow it to move quickly. All right. So putting your trainer's skills and morals to the test, Dreadnought is known to be extremely vicious, and it takes a skilled trainer to tame and handle this Pokemon. It seems that some trainers will release Dreadnought back into the wild once they discover they can't handle it. That is a very sad description of a Pokemon. Just like, yeah, I can't take you. Get out of here.
But I could see it being kind of like a Gyarados, maybe in that sense, where it's hard work and it pays off potentially. So if it evolves later, it gets a very nice, powerful evolution. In the screenshot there, we see it at level 55, and that kind of makes me think it's going to be a very late evolution as well. So you really have to work for it if it does get an evolution.
Yeah, if it does have one. All right, so that's kind of going to be it. Now, we do have a description for battles with wild Pokemon, but doesn't really state anything that we haven't really noticed from previous games. So we're just going to go ahead and skip over that. I think we can go ahead and talk about our two legendary Pokemon for this gen. At least the two that have been revealed. So we have the legendary Pokemon Zacian and Zamazenta. These are legendary Pokemon that will be featured on the packages of Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. They are shrouded in mystery and are even unknown to those who live in the Galar region. So, before we go any further, these are direwolves. These are Game of Thrones direwolves.
Yeah, they're a wolf. Yeah.
Like, I could see how a few people who are working on this game, maybe Game of Thrones fans, because, you had the sword with the, the wolf on the hilt, very similar to like Jon Snow's sword.
Direwolf, yeah.
So anyway, starting with Zacian. Zacian attacks so gracefully that its movements can even captivate its opponents. It holds what appears to be a sword in its mouth. I love the design of this Pokemon. I really do.
It's okay.
It's got a sword in its mouth. I love it.
I
This
like
is the one I'm going
Zamazenta
with.
so much better. Like,
See,
he's okay. Zacian is okay.
I'm not a big
Zamazenta,
fan of
oh,
protecting I'm not a big fan of like blocking things with my face. Like
well,
that goes.
you've never met Zamazenta.
So I used to train in mixed martial arts and boxing
Mhm.
a couple of years ago. You never want to block anything with your face, and this
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon definitely goes against that. So
But
for
it's
Zac,
built to do that. Humans aren't built to do that.
so for Zacian, before we move on to Zamazenta, it has one more piece of description. Its shining blade can cut through anything. All right, so moving on to Zamazenta. Zamazenta's regal and majestic movements overwhelm any opponent that dare face it. Its body is covered in what seems to be a shield. So
Mhm.
this Pokemon is all about defense.
Defense.
So it looks like it's going to have like great speed stats in conjunction with its great defense stats. And its gleaming shield can turn back any attack. So I'm going to assume that Zacian's blade can't cut through Zamazenta's face, and
Yes.
Zamazenta's face can't break Zacian's sword, so they're going to just sit there and
Evenly
stalemate each other.
Mhm. Yeah.
These are cool designs overall, though. I love it. They share. They're very similar, but they just share like a they differ when it comes to like their
Little
armor.
bit of uniqueness. Yeah. Yeah. One's built more like what Frederick from Fire Emblem. One's more built kind of like Chrom, I
Yeah.
would say.
Well, I love that like Zacian, his fur kind of sprouts upwards, looking like wings.
Wings.
And
yeah. Mhm.
Zamazenta, the shielding covers like its side, so it's
Mhm.
kind of built like a tank. So
Mhm.
it's very cool. The designs are great though.
Yeah.
And
Overall, they're cool.
they share the same color scheme. It's all about
Slightly
like
different.
yeah, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
all about like how the deepness of each color.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
Zamazenta has much darker coloring versus
And then-
Zacian's lighter.
Lighter. Yeah.
But yeah, they both look very cool. But
Mhm.
yeah, once I saw the sword in its mouth, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna pick Pokemon Sword this time out.
I'm gonna pick Shield. I think we picked already. I think I love Zamazenta so much more, and you love Zacian so much more.
All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move into our first new mechanic of Pokemon Sword and Shield,
Mhm.
and those are gonna be the Dynamax battles. If I can
Yes.
find where they are.
Let me see if I can pull them up. Dynamax battles. Get ready for Dynamax and Pokemon Sword and Shield. No, that's just the trailer. Okay.
There was a description, I just can't find it now.
Pokemon become huge with the Dynamax phenomenon. Yeah. The Dynamax phenomenon is unique, specific locations in the Galar region where Pokemon are able to take on gigantic appearances. Pokemon from the Galar region are capable of Dynamaxing, and the Dynamax Pokemon become tremendously strong.
So this is so cool.
Mm.
It's basically taking Z moves and scaling them way up. So instead of lasting one turn like a Z move does,
Mhm.
these are set to last 3 turns for the Pokemon that you are using. And in order to perform a Dynamax, in order to perform Dynamaxing, you need the Dynamax band. And before we go any further, this is where I have to talk about the toy line for just a moment. So for the last few games, starting with X and Y, we have been given costume bands
Mhm.
that work with the games in some capacity. So you have the Mega Bangle that worked with the Pokemon arcade game,
Mhm.
and you would put your little Z crystal, not your Z crystal, your Mega
Yeah.
Stone
Yeah.
into the bracelet. It would interact with the game. Your Pokemon would Mega Evolve. That was cool. In Pokemon Sun and Moon, we got the Z Ring and the Mega Z Ring in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Yeah.
And that allowed you to perform your Z moves. And that worked with Pokemon Sun and Moon via the microphone. And it was just a fun little way to have a little costume piece that interacted with the game in a non,
pay to win or
Yeah.
locking content behind a thing.
yeah, it was just fun. It was
Mhm.
more of a costume piece than actual functioning part
Yeah.
of the game, but it still was cool. Now that Wicked Cool Toys has the Master Toy license for Pokemon in the States,
Mhm.
we're not going to get something for this.
Probably not. No.
So, guys, we're gonna have to start. If you're a fan of the bands and the bracelets that Tomy made, get ready to import this because I'm gonna have to. So anyway, the key item for Dynamaxing the Dynamax band. Naturally, the Dynamax phenomenon is the topic of much research in the Galar region. A special item known as the Dynamax band is the product of such research. Only trainers who possess a Dynamax band are able to Dynamax their Pokemon. And once you have done so, you will be able to perform max moves. All the moves of a Dynamax Pokemon will turn into special max move. Max moves pack a punch, but that's not all. Some of them can even trigger powerful additional effects. And you've got some great screenshots of Grookey Dynamaxing. It's still an ugly Pokemon. Hate that Grook. I hate that Monkey Flower.
Okay, agree to disagree here. But we can also see the moves that Grookey is using here, and I think that's the key takeaway. So Scratch becomes Max Strike, Razor Leaf becomes Max Overgrowth, then both Growl and Taunt become Max Guard. So
is weird. Which means you're going to want to have you want to diversify your moveset a lot more in this game for
at least for what you're going to use your Dynamax with, yes. I would imagine that it talks about how some Pokemon get special moves. I'd imagine all three of your starters are probably going to get, a special Dynamax move, similarly to how the Alolan starters all had their special Z Crystal moves.
Exactly. Well, and Pikachu had his own. He had a couple of.
Yeah, he's like 3, and then Raichu and Alolan Raichu both have their own. It's absurd.
Oh, they really gave they kind of had to boost that evolutionary line. That line has
it needs it.
As much as Pikachu is the mascot of the Pokemon franchise,
he's not good.
It's not viable.
No.
That's why Ash keeps losing in all the Pokemon leagues.
Just use the freaking Thunderstone. Who cares if he likes being Pikachu more? He'll like being a Raichu just fine. But one thing I find interesting here is it doesn't talk about a certain held item the Pokemon has to hold for this.
Which is nice because it's kind of getting tedious to give your Pokemon stones to
That's fair. It's getting tedious, but I don't think you should be able to Dynamax and hold a Life Orb.
At least what's that sash that keeps you from getting killed? Focus Sash, yeah.
This probably increases your defense too. If you Dynamax, you're not going to die while you're Dynamax. It's not happening.
All right. So moving on with the description, the max moves your Pokemon can use are determined by what kind and types of moves they knew before Dynamaxing, which is, obviously you broke that down. So the normal type max move called Max Strike has the additional effect of lowering the speed stats of opponents it hits. So Dynamaxing looks like it's going to really alter. Yeah, it's going to change things up. Now, whether or not we'll like this more than Mega Evolution and Z moves remain to be seen. I've always been a proponent that Mega Evolution looks cool, but kind of broke the game a lot. And Z moves kind of really bounced the game. But now we're taking the Z move idea, kind of dialing it up to 11, and we're getting the Dynamaxing. 3 turns is a lot. 3 turns is a lot. You could really shake things up in 3 turns.
So one concern I kind of have for 1v1 battles, with a friend or something is, will I be forced to Dynamax my own Pokemon when my opponent Dynamaxes just to stay alive? Because will this giant Grookey here just one-shot all my Pokemon if they are not on the same sort of playing field or level of Dynamax? Because you look at, the max raids that we'll talk about later on, it's a 4v1, and it's a Gyarados in the trailer that just annihilates all of the Pokemon except for the Dynamax Raichu they have. And so assuming that Dynamaxing a Pokemon will just put it on uneven playing field where you need a 4v1 to just even try and keep up. 3 turns could be 3 whole Pokemon. You just lose in a 6v6 Pokemon
just a one-shot.
Yeah, because you can one-shot, and then for 3 whole turns, what do you do?
That's half your team just
that's half your team. Yeah, I think it's going to force Protect to be seen a lot more, which in certain metas such as VGC, it's already a very popular move. But I think the most optimal way to really try and do this is one, protect, switch out into something that's expendable, and then switch back into whoever you're protecting with and protect again. I think that's just the best way to do it, unfortunately. But
It's true. All right. So
even then, you might be able to break through protect like Z moves could.
Oh yeah, they could. They could shatter through that.
Yeah. Like, why is Max Guard not just a normal protect? Do you need to Max Guard all their Dynamaxed Pokemon specifically?
Oh man. Well, we're gonna have to find out, man, because it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting to see how
it's
this
a scary
works.
mechanic and a cool mechanic to me.
Yeah, gonna have to figure out how this. Man, I can only imagine how this is actually gonna change just the overall meta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's terrifying right now.
All right, so moving on, we have kind of a little bit of a tie-in to what we were talking about last week. When we were talking about Pokemon Masters, we noted that the Pokemon trainer had a cell phone that was in the shape of a Rotom. And in this game, we have an official confirmation of a Rotom phone. So, about the Pokedex and the Rotom phone. Any Pokemon that you catch during your adventure will have its information registered in the Pokedex. The Pokedex in these titles will actually be part of your Rotom phone. Your Rotom phone is also a Rotom, a Pokemon that can enter into various electronic appliances, and your Rotom phone can do a lot more than serve as a Pokédex. So this is definitely an evolution of the Rotom Dex that we saw in Pokemon Sun and Moon and Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And yeah.
I mean, sorry. So one thing that they mentioned, like, a lot about the Rotom Pokedex in Sun and Moon is that this is the future of Pokedexes. And a lot of people, I don't think, really thought that it was going to be the future going forward. They were like, oh, we just get a different kind of Pokedex every game. And so next time we'll just get something that doesn't have Rotom because it's just not relevant anymore. And I like and I dislike the Rotom Dex personally. From a canon standpoint, it just seems too unobtainable for every single person who has this item to have a Rotom. There's just not enough Rotoms in the world.
Well, I mean, at least in Sun and Moon, he was like
special.
New. Yeah, he was like, it was new.
Like, yeah,
basically prototyped
at all the whole game.
I do like how it is a natural evolution of the Rotom Dex, though, and totally makes sense because now we're starting to see Pokemon really kind of integrate itself into like real world scenarios where everybody and their mama has a smartphone now, and totally makes sense that you wouldn't need to specifically carry around a Pokedex anymore. Like having just a standard, smartphone that could be integrated with, a Pokedex app makes a lot more sense. It's like using like the real world evolution of technology and applying it to the world of Pokemon. I love that idea, and I'm just kind of happy to see the Rotom Dex come back in some way. So the Rotom phone, plus that tie into Pokemon Masters, man. We talked about it last week, and you speculated that
it was gonna come.
Yep, you speculated on it, and here we are in a different game, but we're getting that kind of confirmation. So that's kind of cool, actually.
I want to speculate on two more things in a bit. We can finish this Rotom phone discussion.
Actually, I think that's it for the Rotom phone. So,
well, they mentioned here you can attach it to your bike to make it move faster on land, or it can travel in water. And they showed it traveling in water in the trailer for the wild area. And I almost wonder, going back to how Corviknight, about how Corviknight, he's the fly slave essentially, or whatever. Could your other transportation modes just be Rotom Dex upgrades, such as instead of Surf, you just have Rotom who lets you drive through water, or a Rotom who just breaks rocks or moves bigger rocks.
Kind of like how Pikachu and Eevee learned abilities for Pokemon Let's Go that allow them to do all those sorts of like traveling and the performing of HMs, which are no longer a thing in Pokemon games.
And we don't have a partner Pikachu or Eevee, but Rotom Dex will always be with you. So it could be how that works. I don't know what I'm saying.
No, I get it. Yeah, like instead of having a Pokemon become like your HM slave or your ability slave, the Rotom Dex would naturally be able to access those moves for you.
Yeah, and then of course you have to upgrade your Rotom Dex to get these things. So that's how you're going to progress those.
All right.
But I wanna do my little predictions here. One very, very bold prediction, but I have good facts to back this up. The next either Pokemon Direct or big Pokemon news drop will be August 31st. And so how I know this is that on February 2nd, February 22nd, the date that they released the very first Pokemon Sword and Shield trailer, you see the trainer wearing a jersey that says 227 on the back. And previously, I had mentioned how that's Skarmory's number. I didn't know how Skarmory factored into things. And I realize now it's not Skarmory's number. That was the date that the trailer dropped. That was February 27th. If you look at the new trailer that dropped today, the number is different on the trainer's back. It is 65. June 5th. Today, June 5th, is what is written on the trainer's back. So it is corresponded to the date of the trailer drops.
That's funny.
But then right after you see the 6-5 on the trainer's back, you see what's written on the gym leader's back, which is 831, August 31st. I'm calling it right now. Take whatever you hear from a grain of salt, but I am dead set on that as a fact. We're getting new news on Sword and Shield on August 31st.
All right, well, we're going to hold our breaths unabatedly just to find out.
All right. And then my second big speculation, which I have no evidence to prove, but I know Pokemon, and it's happening. You're going to get an electric Corgi Pokemon, and it will be used by an electric gym leader. I have no evidence. It's just happening.
Now, I love Corgis as a breed. They're smart, they're cute, and they have stubby little legs.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment you give it an electric typing will instantly that banks it your Pikachu Pokemon for this generation, which means it's unviable. It's unviable.
I don't care. The electric type gym leader is using it, and it's gonna blow minds at how cute it is. It's happening.
Well, speaking of wild Pokemon, and because that was a wild prediction, we have the wild area coming up next. So we're going to go ahead and check out the natural beauty of the wild area. There is a vast expanse of land in the Galar region known as the wild area. The wild area is full of nature as far as the eye can see, and it connects several different towns and cities. You'll find a greater variety of Pokemon living here than anywhere else in the Galar region. The Pokemon you run into will change depending on things like the weather or location, so you might see something new each time you visit. So this is essentially the Great Plateau of Pokemon Sword and Shield. It was funny. My fiance walked into the room when I was watching the direct for a second time, and she's like, "Oh, they're making a new Breath of the Wild game." I was like, "No,
it's Pokemon.
It's Pokemon." She's like, "Oh," because she hates when I play Pokemon. Oh. She can't stand it when I play Pokemon because I ignore her for weeks on end.
Don't do that. Just make time for both.
She knows.
I know it's hard.
She knows that when Pokemon games come out, that she's gonna be neglected for. This is her fourth. This will be her fourth Pokemon release in the 6 years that we've been together.
Oh my god!
She has to learn to accept it. Hey, when it's a Grand Theft Auto game, I don't talk to her for months.
Okay, that's fair then. Well, I mean, how often does the Grand Theft Auto game come out? Though,
like once every 20 years.
Yeah, like we get Pokemon so much more frequent.
That's really just a few days of me not paying as much attention to her as I normally do. Anyhow.
Yes, go on with the wild area.
So the wild area can be reached through various towns and cities, and it contains untamed wilderness. Speaking of untamed, overworld Pokemon in this section of the game, we were all kind of bummed out when we saw that there weren't any overworld Pokemon in those first few trailers. It looks like this is specific to the wild area, but it's still overworld Pokemon back in the game. It's like they didn't want to fully commit to it, but I'm glad that there's at least one place.
It's both. It really was what it is, and it's a very smart move because I love this. It's what the people who like Let's Go wanted to see, but people who like their random wild encounters also get. So it's separating them is good. People really wanted that open world Pokemon, and this caters to that need as well as the need of people who just want their linear.
I honestly think people would have been more accepting of the open world, visible Pokemon had you been able to battle them.
For sure. Yeah, they would have. You're right.
I really think that mechanics not downfall, but the reason most people disliked it was specifically because the battle element had been removed. Not completely, because there are a few Pokemon that you encounter in the overworld.
Snorlax and Legends.
And Mewtwo and all the legendary bird trio.
Yeah. It's just Snorlax and the Legends. That's it.
Yeah. So hopefully in the wild area, even though they are overworld Pokemon, they're not going to bust straight into Pokemon Go mechanics.
I would hope not. Yeah.
I would appreciate, the ability to battle the Pokemon. Look, I liked Pokemon Let's Go. I liked it way more than I felt like I had any right to.
I agree.
I did like throwing. I even like throwing the Pokeball because once you actually figure out that like making different motions really
affects it.
Yeah, if you're just trying to throw the ball sideways like straight, you're never gonna hit it. But if if you swipe it like you're trying to swipe your cell phone on it, like you're swiping left on Tinder, you're gonna catch that Pokemon that went off to the side. Anyway. And then it seems Pokemon you'll run into will change depending on things like the weather or location. And then we have this part right here. Have you look around the wild area. While in the wild area, you'll be able to control the camera in order to explore the vast space around you and search for Pokemon and items. So it's cool that you're going to have camera control in this section of the game. I wish they had opened it up to the whole game entirely, but at least it's a step in the right direction. Like they're making baby steps, with Pokemon. Like you can see how the game as a whole didn't take too many risks. They want to kind of make that transition. Like let's say people skipped Let's Go and their last mainline Pokemon game was Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon or Sun and Moon. You're seeing gradual transitions, nothing like completely world breaking, but it's nice to know that there is an open world area. They did say that they were taking inspiration from Breath of the Wild, and you can see it here in the wild area. Sure. It totally reminds me of the Great Plateau.
Yeah. One thing sort of think about, and I'm already kind of forgetting it. Oh gosh, I don't know what I was thinking. So Game Freak never really seems to fully commit to the first game on a console. You look at, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum compared to Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and even especially Black and White, vastly different. Like Black and White was very, I guess, experimental with how it controlled the cameras, the moving sprites. There's a lot of good, just quality of life improvements that weren't there on the first game on the DS. And you look at X and Y, and it's a similar situation. It's fully 3D Pokemon, but you still have those chibi overworld things, and it's not as pushing the 3DS to its full potential like it is in Sun and Moon, where you are the same avatar, no chibi form, in the overworld and in battles. And I feel like if we get a second Pokemon game on Switch after this, that's mainline, that is the Gen 9. It's Gen 9 at this point, is what I'm thinking. We can see this fully realized, for sure. You're muted right now, I believe.
No, always do that. Always do that. At least once per show. Anyway, so while we're talking about the wild area, there is a mechanic that appears to be exclusive to the wild area. Mm-hmm. And that is the ability to participate in max raid battles with other trainers. First off, before we start talking about this, I'm gonna have a little freak out moment. Raids, online raids, local raids. So a few years ago, Mario After Party and I were, when Pokemon Go had first come out, when they had first implemented the raid mechanic into Pokemon Go, we had been talking about what the mainline Pokemon series could learn from Pokemon Go, and raids were one of the things that we both agreed would be a phenomenal addition to the mainline series. Now, granted, we also said there were things that Pokemon Go should learn from the main series that they have refused to learn. This is year 3. So 3 years later, they haven't learned much from the mainline series, especially when it comes to things like battling. But the things that Pokemon has implemented from Pokemon Go have been welcome changes. Like Pokemon Let's Go, like I love that game, and it's mostly like taking a lot of the mechanics that existed in Pokemon Go and applying them to Pokemon proper. And now we get this Max Raids. So let's go ahead and let's talk about them and their official descriptions. So Max Raid battles are a completely new battle format where you will team with up to 3 other trainers in order to take down wild Dynamax Pokemon. You'll get a chance to catch the wild Dynamax Pokemon that you face if you manage to defeat it, which makes me think that Pokemon Go has always had Dynamaxing.
Mm-hmm. It's always been big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love this this key art that they did.
With the Pangoro.
Yeah. You have your Sobble, your Grookey, and your Scorbunny, and Pikachu because you have to have Pikachu.
But no Eevee.
Nope.
But they're mascots together.
We're back to one mascot for the Pokemon series.
You screwed up.
It's a great picture, though, man. Like he is
That's
rampaging. All right, but don't get too confident. The wild Dynamax Pokemon will remain in their giant form for the entire battle and have unique powers to boot. They won't go down easily. Mm-hmm. Only one member of the group consisting of you and your allies can Dynamax a Pokemon during Max Raid battles, so close teamwork is a key. Additionally, some things you can do in the wild area like Max Raid battles can become even more fun by connecting with other players.
Mm-hmm.
Really hope in that instance that this game utilizes the smartphone app to at least have voice communication.
Oh, that too, yeah.
Yeah, because like one person Dynamaxing could make or break the outcome of the raid.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's very cool. We have yet to find out how it's going to be completely implemented, but it's, co-op Pokemon, like real co-op in a Pokemon game.
Yes.
I play a lot of Dragon Ball Xenoverse, and like they have this raid, a very similar raid mechanic to this, and I was always thinking like I would like to see this implemented to more games on the Nintendo Switch.
Here it is.
There it is. Pokemon is like the perfect franchise to do it with too. I love it, man. It's raids. Now, raids in Pokemon Go are like one of the few last fun things to really do in that game.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's specifically since they like to lock
Pokemon,
legendary Pokemon to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here is a breakdown of how a Dynamax battle works. Face a wild Dynamax Pokemon together with your friends. Only one trainer of your foursome can Dynamax their Pokemon, and only once per battle. Cooperating with your allies is the key to victory. Even catching the Pokemon is super dynamic, and we saw that in the trailer where like they throw like the massive giant Pokeball, like the Dynamax Pokeball, and then the Pokeball smacks it breaks the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's wild.
Yeah. The wild Dynamax Pokemon you'll face in Max Raid battles seem to be very based on where you are in the wild area or what the weather is like. The weather in the wild area changes every day, so be ready to meet a variety of Pokemon each time you visit. Also, it seems that some Pokemon can only be caught in Max Raid battles.
Now, one thing I kind of have to know, though, is so if it's raining on my screen, will it be raining in everyone else's screen for the wild area, like everyone in the world?
I assume that in order to perform this properly, they're going to have to have some kind of global syncing of the weather effects in this game.
That's what I'd imagine, yeah. Or at least regional to some degree.
Yeah.
But this is super cool. Just co-op Pokemon is just fantastic addition. And I almost feel like they did it backwards. So they added raids and then added the Dynamax mechanic later. Is how I kind of see this working. They're like, we want to add raids. How are we going to do this? Let's make the Pokemon big, and your Pokemon get big too. They can almost developed backwards, which I kind of like. If we go back to these screenshots for the wild area also, you can see that there's an icon in the corner for wireless communication. So you would obviously be connecting to friends in the wild area to do the wild battles, and they will show up in the area. But I kind of theorize that there will be more we can do in the wild area with our friends. And you can do that anytime, any point, anywhere in the wild area, which would be super cool. I think that's highly possible at the very least, where we get lots of things to do with our many friends, many people online all over wild area.
I'm very popular today, apparently. All right, so 2 Pokemon that are exclusive, it seems, to Dynamax raids are Steenie
Yes.
and Lantern.
Lantern. Yes.
So Steenie when it's sunny and Lantern when it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have a little bit more descriptions of max raid battles. Team up with all sorts of people as you face all sorts of Dynamax Pokemon. You can join up with people near you to participate in max raid battles, but you can also connect to Pokemon trainers around the world via the internet and face Dynamax Pokemon together with them. Note: if 3 other trainers aren't available to participate in max raid battles, support trainers will automatically be added to your side to help you with the wild Dynamax Pokemon, so you can, in fact, perform raids solo. No enrollment in Nintendo Switch Online paid service is required for online gameplay. So, 2 things. You are going to have a Nintendo Switch Online account in order to access the max raid battles. And second, confirmation that you can do raids online, not just locally. That was my initial worry, was that, you're only going to be able to do local, raids. Because the way they described it in the direct was like, you can do other things online as well. I'm like, what? You didn't really confirm max rating online, though. But
no, yeah,
it's nice to see it written out here in plain English. This also kind of gives me hope that because this is you need to have the Nintendo Switch Online as a paid service for the online gameplay, that they're gonna make Pokemon Home part of the Nintendo Switch Online paid service.
Yeah,
gives me hope. It's not confirmation. Don't take me saying that as like the gospel.
Yeah, nothing like my August 31st thing. Don't take that as the gospel either. Like, these are just our assumptions based on trends and facts and things.
All right. But that pretty much covers everything that they focused on in the direct. That trailer. Let's talk about that trailer for a minute, though. That like trailer that showed off the max battles and the max raid battles. Like, it looks like they overhauled the graphics from the trailer that we saw back
in February. Yeah,
like, I was looking at like the facial animations for the character.
Crowd.
I was like, wow. Oh my god! And the ability to like that broadcasting where you see everything through like a camera lens.
Yeah, I think it's Rotom. I think Rotom's flying around with the phone camera and is doing that.
I hope that like when you do like online battles, you have that like camera effect, and that you can post those online battles
online, Switch Online or something.
Yeah, like how they do with Smash. Like how with Smash you have like the Smash app that lets you post like video clips and whatnot. That'd be dope.
It would be incredible. Yeah.
Like they have that mechanic where you could record your battles in Sun and Moon, but you couldn't really post them anywhere. All right, so all that super cool. I loved this direct. They showed off some great stuff. Now it's time to talk about that box art. As awesome as I think these 2 legendary Pokemon are,
it's underwhelming box art.
It is.
It's underwhelming.
This is not the best. Like, these are not the best pictures for the box art.
No.
Like, it's bad.
First big game of Switch.
But it's good. Like, I'm a little bummed out, man, because I wanted this box art to be better. Because, like, if you look at all the key art that they've released for the game since the direct, they have better pictures of these Pokemon.
Yeah.
So,
but what's with this? Yeah, I don't like it. I hope it's not final, but it's pretty sure it's final.
Yeah, it's severely underwhelming. But
yeah.
With that being said, overall, what are your thoughts on the direct as a whole?
Everything I could ask for was pretty much there. I was thinking 1 to 3 Pokemon would get revealed. Yeah.
See, I was very happy with the direct as well. I think they did a really good job of showing us what's new in this game. What sets this game apart from the mainline series, because based off that initial trailer that they revealed, it kind of looked like the same old. I thought graphically it was an improvement, but it wasn't like such a major leap forward that like, oh, this doesn't look that much different than a upscale 3DS game. But this trailer showed us a lot better graphics. We got an open world area, which we were wondering about that too, because when we were talking about the region, and the first time we talked about this, we're like, this region's very vertical. Like, how, like, we know they said they took inspiration from Breath of the Wild, but we weren't seeing it there. Like, how can you say that you took inspiration from Breath of the Wild and not really showcase any of it? When then we get this whole thing with the wild area, completely blows my mind, because there it is. There's the inspiration of Breath of the Wild. They didn't fully commit to it,
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like they did just enough of it to really like change, the way Pokemon is going to move towards in the future. Maybe going forward, the next game out will be a lot more open world with a lot more overworld Pokemon, roaming around in it. The legendaries look really badass. I've made my decision. I'm going to go with Sobble, and I'm picking Pokemon Sword.
I'm picking Pokemon Shield and going with Grookey. But I really like how you brought up the wild area, because that was, I think, the big thing about this direct that people just loved. And I also feel like the people that didn't like it, that was the killer for them. I was talking about with some people in some chats that I am a part of, and most people that didn't like it didn't actually watch the direct, but they said, "Oh, that sounds like Pokemon Go. I think I'll pass on Sword and Shield." And I mean, to each their own. Their opinions are valid, but for a lot of people, that was what really made this direct, because that was something that was like blatantly missing from that first trailer that we saw, where it's all just wild encounters again. There's no overworld Pokemon, and then like, nope, surprise, it's here. We just fooled you.
Yeah, it's the best of both worlds.
Exactly. Yes.
And again, to go back to the fact that they said like they were really impressed with Breath of the Wild and they really want to implement it. They did that, and even the naming of the area as the Wild area, total shout out to Breath of the Wild. You could see that they really did enjoy Breath of the Wild, and they really did want to take as much inspiration from the game as they did. Now, I mean, we saw some stuff there. We saw like a snowy part of it. Obviously, we saw the lake. We saw what appears to be a desert in the wild area with like, dead trees.
There's lots of variety here. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. There's even a snow area in the that they showed in the trailer. It's not here in the screenshots, but yes, it was a great direct. They really did a good job these last 2 weeks of like highlighting what's coming with Pokemon. Now, I'm still a little bit skeptical on Pokemon Sleep, but we've got about a year before we figure out what's happening with that game, air quotes. But yeah, I love it, and I finally got a Mellow Metal today, so I can't wait.
Nice.
I can't wait to utilize him in this game, because he seems like he's gonna fit in right with this game.
I still have not transferred mine over. I'm waiting for still more confirmation how the transferring is going to work. Pokemon Home.
Yeah, well, they did say it's gonna work with Let's Go, so I'm confident that I can transfer them over with.
I hope too.
Very little. It's funny though, because I caught so many Snorlaxes over the last week that I filled a whole box with nothing but Snorlaxes in Pokemon Let's Go. I was like, went to go look at it. I was like, oh my god, that's
that whole park. Oh no, that's chaos.
They're all just fat and lazing about. It's hilarious. All right, guys, but that's going to go ahead and wrap up our Pokemon Sword and Shield part of this podcast. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a 5-minute break, and when we come back, we're going to come back to you with our E3 predictions. So, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and welcome to the Nintendo Power Zone podcast. If you're just now joining us, you missed out on our awesome Pokemon Sword and Shield direct conversation, and now we're going to go ahead and we're going to slide into our 4th annual E3 prediction show. This is one of my favorite episodes of the year. It's going to be a little bit truncated this year in comparison to previous years, but we're trying out a shorter format for the 3 weeks of E3, so concessions had to be made. So this year, we're going to make 3 predictions each. We're going to describe our predictions and why we think they're going to come to pass. And with that said, I'm going to kick things off. I'm going to go basic. gonna go with a basic prediction
okay.
here. At this year's E3, we're gonna get Mario Kart 9. It has been a good while since Mario Kart 8 was released back on the Wii U. That was released in 2014 on the Wii U. We did get an upgraded version of it on the Nintendo Switch, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But yet and still, that is not a new Mario Kart game. They added newer mechanics. They fixed the battle system. But it is not a true sequel to the Mario Kart franchise. Also, I'm going to base my prediction on some facts. Since the N64 release of Mario Kart, there has been a Mario Kart released every 3 years on either console. So Mario Kart 64, 3 years later, Mario Kart for the Game Boy Advance, 3 years after that, Mario Kart on the GameCube, 3 years after that, Mario Kart DS, 3 years after that, Mario Kart Wii, 3 years after that, Mario Kart 7, 3 years after that, Mario Kart 8. Like clockwork. Also 3 years after that, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
DX. And then has it been 3 years since Deluxe released? I think it's getting there, right?
We're gonna by then.
Yeah,
I predict Mario Kart 9 for a 2020 release. Let me be very specific. I don't think it's coming this calendar year. I think it will release next year. Mario Kart Tour is not a full-fledged Mario Kart game. We're going to remove that from the numbering system. It is a mobile app.
But that could fill the slot, though, when you think about it. That could fill the 3-year slot. And then in 3 more years. Because my only real gripe with that is that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still selling.
It's the best-selling game on the Switch hardware.
Yeah, like it's still selling. It doesn't need a new game.
It doesn't need, but for the 13 million people that had a Nintendo Switch that now, Nintendo Wii U who now have a Nintendo Switch, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is old hat.
It is.
It's old hat. It's time to refresh the series. New courses, new DLC, new characters, new racers. We need it all. So my basic prediction is Mario Kart 8 9, releasing summer of 2020.
I mean, how is it really a prediction if I just say we are getting a Smash reveal? Is that a prediction? No?
No, I don't think so. I think
no. Okay,
guaranteed.
Right. Okay. But what if I said Animal Crossing? Is that a guarantee or is that a prediction?
I don't know. I think that might be a guarantee because we know that's coming this year.
Yeah. So we're at a weird spot. I feel like with this year's E3 where there's not really much we can predict. I feel because everything that we might have predicted is already like confirmed that it will most likely be there. If I had to make one prediction, I would say Mario RPG is one thing I think could be seen for a similar reason to you predicting Mario Kart 9. But mostly looking at a previous trend, last year we got the Super Mario Party announcement at E3 just out of the blue. And I think, they could do a couple things. They can't do another Mario Party. They could do Mario Kart 9, as you were saying. They could do a Mario sports game. Or they could do a Mario RPG.
Well, we got the sports game already. Mario Tennis.
Yeah, Aces. Yes, exactly. But we could also get like Super Sluggers, Hoops 3-on-3. There's golf. Like, there's plenty of options with the sports
Until game. Super Sluggers goes online, I'm not buying those games. We've had 2 games in that franchise that don't go online. And the Strikers games did go online.
The point still stands, though, that we could get a Mario sports game. I feel like the safer of those options is probably an RPG. There isn't one yet. I'd imagine they'd have something in the works, though. Whether that be Superstar Saga, Mario and Luigi game, or a Paper Mario game, or something brand new. Maybe to tie in with this inevitable Smash reveal, we get Superstar Saga 2. Wait, no. We get Legend of the 7 Stars, Super Mario RPG 2, with Gino as our Smash rep. Make it happen, please.
Well, I'm gonna get some credence to your prediction.
Okay.
Square is holding a press conference this year.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna be there, yeah.
They haven't done that in a little bit, and they have recommitted themselves to Nintendo. I mean, they've made up, and they're playing nice again. Like
they're lost
they're back in bed with one another. It could happen. That's always been the thing that's kind of kept that game from being sequelized or really released. Like there haven't been a whole lot of re-releases of that game. I think 3.
Now it's happening.
You have 3 total. Oh yeah, maybe with updated graphics. Using that Kingdom Hearts 3 engine, possibly.
That would be a bit much.
It would
That's
look
getting
amazing.
too excited. I couldn't handle that.
All right. So for my second prediction, I was keeping it. The funny thing is, I also had a Square Enix type prediction.
Okay.
We all know Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming. I'm not bold. I'm not predicting that for the Switch.
Okay. I was about to.
No. I'm not here to pipe dream.
Okay.
But I do have realistic expectations.
Mhm.
There is a Final Fantasy game that was absent from like all the major like Final Fantasy releases that came out a couple months ago. We had 7, 9, World of Final Fantasy, Chocobo Mystery Dungeon. 8 was suspiciously missing, but I went and I did some research on why 8 is missing, and so I'm not here to predict 8, which I know might upset a few people. I am here to predict that Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Crisis Core is a prequel to Final Fantasy VII. It is probably the best of the expanded Final Fantasy VII universe games. That includes Dirge of Cerberus and the movie Advent Children, and a couple of cell phone games that just didn't get released here in the States. But I do think that we're gonna see a port of Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. And I think it's gonna get released on all platforms, but I think it's coming to the Switch to kind of hype up that that release of the Final Fantasy VII remake that we know is coming. That we just had a trailer for during Sony's second state of play.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that Square wants to hype up that game as much as possible. So it wouldn't be a surprise to see Crisis Core get ported to every console. And that game hasn't been ported, period. You can't play that game on Vita. You can't play that game on PS3. And you cannot play it on PS4. It exists solely as a PSP game. Been long enough. It's a good game. The Nintendo Switch is the perfect console for it. It really is. It's just a great console
for RPGs in general.
Yeah, it really is. Plus, I love that game. It's one of the few PSP games that I've beaten multiple times.
Now, this kind of seems redundant to me since it's a Final Fantasy VII remake, but do you see us getting a pocket edition of that like we did with 15 and then seeing that edition just come to Switch?
I hope not.
I do too. I'm with you.
Like, if you're gonna play an ugly version of Final Fantasy VII,
play the original.
Play the one that just got put on, and that game is not ugly, by the way. I mean, yes, the graphics haven't aged great, but that game came out like over 20 years ago.
For the time, it looked beautiful. For now,
that was like the revolution back in 1997. The graphics were never going to get better than that, according to all the video game magazines back in the day. Like, this is it. We've reached the pinnacle. No, we haven't. We're just scratching the surface, bitches. Like, a year later, we got a Final Fantasy game that looked better than 7. No, but Crisis Core is a really good game, and they wouldn't have to do too much to it. Now, I know there might be there's a little bit of a licensing issue because they used a real-world person as a inspiration for a very specific character in the game. I think they might have to tweak that character's design, but I think it can be done, and I really think that it would be a perfect title to put on the Nintendo Switch. It's already a portable game, so you're not doing too much to upres it to put it on the Nintendo Switch. So I would love to see that. That is my I would say that's a little bit of an out there prediction, but it's not so bold that it's crazy.
Okay. I guess for my middle prediction, I'm gonna kind of cheat and just claim two things, and it's more of a pipe dream of my personal wants than a prediction. But I want, or both if possible, a Xenoblade game or just a Monolith Soft game, whatever they are currently working on that's original.
Now they do have that untitled Monolith Soft game that that's set with looks like a more traditional style RPG than what they typically do. We've known about that for a few years. It'd be nice to see it.
Exactly. So I'm thinking we could maybe see that. We could see, a port of either 1 or X, maybe X2 if they've been working on that, or just anything that they can really bring to the table. I would be down. Like, I've been wanting for a while a Baten Kaitos remaster, which is a GameCube game, phenomenal, beautiful. it has like a weird, unique trading card mechanic, and it was such a good RPG. Technically, Bandai Namco owns the licensing and stuff for it, but it was made by Monolith Soft, and if just that was announced, I would count that. But so either like just a Monolith Soft game or a Metroid game. So we know that we are most likely not getting anything on Metroid Prime 4, much to our dismay, and we'll move on from that. But it's possible, I think, to see. There were rumors about Trilogy coming potentially. We could maybe see that, but also I think we could get just a different Metroid. We got Samus Returns on the 3DS. I think maybe get like a Super Metroid remaster potentially on Switch could be a thing to follow up with that. So a Metroid game or a Monolith Soft game.
All right, kind of spinning off what you're saying. Now, we do know that Retro got the reins back to the Metroid Prime series. I want to stick with Retro for a minute because I have one prediction that really holding on to hope for. Retro had been working on a game before they started working on Metroid Prime 4. We don't know what it is. Now, we've had rumors of a racing game. We've had and that's it, like a Star Fox racing game. I think that ended up being like, a pipe dream, but whatever. I really think that Retro has been working on the conclusion to their Donkey Kong trilogy. And I think we're going to see that at this year's E3. I think we're going to get a Donkey Kong announcement at E3. It's been long enough since we've had a proper sequel to the Donkey Kong Country Returns franchise. I think they need to finish this trilogy off and give us a game that brings back Mr. King K. Rool. And it would be nice if he had been the mastermind of the previous two games. He's like, hey, I was lurking in the shadows. I'm the reason why these things came and attacked you for those past two games. We need Retro to finish the trilogy, and we need them to bring back King K. Rool. It needs to happen. I would love to see that because I love me some Donkey Kong Country. And I love me some Retro working on Donkey Kong Country.
I mean, I was thinking we could see Retro's other project too, but I feel like at this point it might just be a lost cause, especially since Retro has an iffy track record with a lot of games that they work on just being scrapped.
Yeah, they do.
It's like how Metroid Prime just sort of came to existence was that they were making 3 games, all of them got scrapped, and they used the engine for one to make Metroid Prime. Because all of the 3 of those games were just bad. And they have a couple other like instances that we know of here and there of just games getting scrapped. And that's unfortunate. But when they do release a good product, it's a great product. But I feel like whatever they were working on before most likely has been scrapped, unfortunately.
Unless it was a Donkey Kong game, because Nintendo's not going to waste a good retro Donkey Kong game.
So what if it was a bad retro Donkey Kong game?
I don't believe that can exist.
Okay, sure.
I believe in them like I believe in God.
Okay.
To me, they are one in concrete. Retro makes good Donkey Kong games, and God exists. Those are my feelings.
Sure. Okay. That was 3 predictions from you then at this point?
I do have one honorable mention, but we'll go ahead and let you get in with the next one.
I don't even really know what my final prediction would be, but there's going to be a Smash announcement. I'm calling it. No, ooh. I might need to edit this. I need to think about this one.
All right, I'm gonna throw my honorable mention out there because I need to have one wild prediction. I think we're gonna get a crossover game.
Oh, okay.
But not in the sense that everybody thinks. I think we're gonna cross over of 2 franchises that are Nintendo owned, and that should have been crossed over from the start.
Okay.
ARMS versus Punch-Out.
Okay.
Little Mac is going to get robot attachments on his arms. He's going to battle out with Springman. Doc, his trainer is going to be in there, and all of the Punch-Out characters are going to have these special attachments that they can fight with all the ARMS characters, and you just have absolute mayhem. And that's what the game is going to be called: Punch-Out versus ARMS Mayhem.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Oh,
That
that's
needs
the
to happen.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
Wow.
just completely bold pulled it out of my butt prediction. But those are two franchises that Little Mac should have been in ARMS.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like,
Yeah.
Mario should have been in ARMS. And what's worst about Mario not being in ARMS is that in Super Mario Odyssey, they did the mechanic where he like took Bowser's hat and he started throwing punches, and you had to do it exactly like you do in ARMS when you get a rush. And I was like, this is how you add Mario to ARMS. Do it.
Just give him the hat, yeah.
Just give him the hat. Let him
add Bowser to ARMS while you're at it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get that. I want the ARMS Punch Out crossover, and I want it to be called Mayhem. Punch Out versus ARMS Mayhem. That's my wild, crazy prediction that is never in a million years gonna come true unless Nintendo was watching this and is like, that is a good idea. Hire him now.
What do I even predict? I'm out of ideas. Splatoon spin-off game. Like an RPG, racing.
Splatoon racing.
Adventure game. I don't know.
I would buy a Splatoon racing game.
There already exists one. It's just Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
All right. So let's move on for predictions. Let's talk about things that we're kind of guaranteed to see at E3 this year.
Okay.
Let's talk about some of those things because there are a number of things that I think we can pretty much count on. So we know that we're going to see a little bit more of Luigi's Mansion 3. We're probably going to get an official name drop for that game. I don't think Luigi's Mansion 3 will be the final title. It'll probably be Luigi's Mansion Haunted Manor or something like that.
Yeah. Or Dusky Night. I don't know, because it's what, Dark Moon, Dusky Night. Like, I don't know.
We're
Dark Moon is a weird name for it.
We're definitely gonna get that Smash drop. A lot of people are speculating that we're gonna see a Dragon Quest character. I really hope not. We have plenty of sword fighters, unless it's like an odd Dragon Quest character like the Slime.
Yeah.
So I really hope we stay away from that. I would love to get an official ARMS character, not as an assist trophy. Any character, Ninjara, please. Ninjara, because he's the best.
Steve from Minecraft, please.
Minecraft.
Please.
Banjo, maybe. Banjo would be fun. It'd be nice to see Banjo work his way back into Nintendo, especially after the way that Microsoft has treated him like a redheaded stepchild.
Oh, there's been a whole lot about Banjo just coming up at E3 here. There's a lot of talk about Banjo. So either a new Banjo game, maybe he's appearing in Smash. I know Cuphead was speculated to be a good indie and Microsoft rep because he's not on the Switch now. His game is on the Switch, so it's possible.
That could be an interesting one. Just snapping his fingers, shooting at you.
But no game needs to be on Switch after Persona and, I guess, previously Final Fantasy VII.
So let's see. What else are we guaranteed? We're guaranteed to get Animal Crossing. Probably a release date. Now that we know that Pokemon's coming out November 15th, looking at a December. It's either going to be a September release or a December release for Animal Crossing. The reason I say that is because I think Luigi's Mansion is coming out in October. They really want to capitalize on that Halloween and that haunted,
for sure.
So we have that. Obviously, we're going to see more Fire Emblems, which I don't think we really need to see any more Fire Emblem. I think
I'll just say it's still coming. Don't worry.
Yeah, just give us some of that. As far as third-party releases, I think maybe Ubisoft's gonna hit us up with a surprise, maybe a sequel to Mario vs. Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Be dope if we saw that out of them. Ubisoft always has some kind of announcement for a Nintendo console, aside from the annual Just Dance games that get released. But I expect there to be some kind of a Nintendo surprise with Ubisoft. Maybe nothing as grand as the Mario Rabbids and the Star Fox announcements that we had gotten in the 2 previous years, but I do think we'll see something cool.
Yeah, I could see that. I think we're also still guaranteed Link's Awakening, at least just to the same extent as Fire Emblem, where it's hey, this is still coming. Either that or they do release or announce some kind of new feature, whether it be a bonus dungeon or some kind of multiplayer content or bonus thing.
Something that sets the game apart from its DX remake and the original game.
Yeah, because it's $60 for a remake.
Be nice if it included the original though.
Yeah,
that package just played in Game Boy style graphics, I would appreciate that. Be nice to be able to compare the two games side by side, like
For
that.
sure.
What else is coming?
Town. Game Freak
Town,
Town.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they announced that last year at E3, and we haven't heard a whole lot about it since. So, Town looks really fun from that initial trailer, and it's been said that Game Freak does, as a whole, want to move a little bit away from the Pokemon games. They want to focus on new IP. They want to make a new popular series. Looks like Town could be the start of that. And I don't know what's going to happen. I think maybe the Pokemon development team might slide over to the Pokemon Company for future games going forward. That doesn't mean that Game Freak will lose its controlling stake in Pokemon. It just means that they're handing over development. They might send the development team over to the Pokemon Company, and that might be a better fit for them, seeing as how like the majority of like the older staff wants to do newer things in game development. So I think that's the way we're going to move for that. We probably not going to get an announcement about that, but we're definitely going to see Town. I would really like to see Town.
I think we could see Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. That's releasing, I believe, later this month.
July 9th.
Okay, yes. Next month, then. We are probably going to get one last little tidbit, or just once again with Mario Maker. Just something quick about Mario Maker. Hey, don't forget we have Mario Maker.
Remember, there's still a slot. A character, a stage building slot that we have yet to find out what it is.
I could see that maybe being announced then, but we wouldn't get that until later. That's a post-content update if we do get whatever that is. Beyond that, I was thinking a couple more games that were third-party. I've forgotten the other one, but I was going to talk about there's usually some kind of big hardcore, game that gets ported. So we had Skyrim, Dark Souls, Diablo, stuff like that. There was rumors about The Witcher 3 being the game that was ported. I believe someone official from CD Projekt Red, however, did deconfirm that, but we could still see something kind of along those lines be announced.
I think we're going to get it from Square. I think we're going to see the second wave of Final Fantasy games get announced from Square for the Nintendo Switch. So that would include Final Fantasy 13, maybe Final Fantasy 14 online.
Yep.
Definitely not Final Fantasy 15, but we'll see 13 and 13-2.
Lightning Returns.
Might see the HD remasters of Kingdom Hearts show up on Nintendo Switch. Switch could definitely handle those games. They're not like they're definitely not going to push the hardware.
The Switch can handle PlayStation 2 stuff. Let's be real. Yeah.
And we might see some kind of weird port of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay.
Like a pocket version of Kingdom Hearts 3 for the Nintendo Switch. I don't think the Switch could run Kingdom Hearts 3 as it stands, but I do know that game is made with Unreal, so it might actually fit on the Switch. They might be able to work it out. Aside from that, I think from Bandai, we'll probably get a Dragon Ball announcement.
I can see that.
Hopefully we get that Dragon Ball Z game that the other consoles are getting. That Goku story game, as it's being lovingly referred to as of right now. But that's it. Like, as far as first party, we know what's coming. Like, now that Pokemon is officially out of the way, we need to look at what more the first party developers are doing. So, I mean, it's weird because Nintendo has a lot of great franchises, but they only have a handful of franchises they actually like to play with.
I could also see them bringing, just a whole new IP, similar to how they brought Splatoon and ARMS in recent years. Just make another one, just a new IP.
Well, we still have no idea on the status of Pikmin 4.
Oh yeah, that is a thing.
And Bayonetta. Oh, I forgot. We're definitely going to see Bayonetta. We're definitely going to see Bayonetta 3
and
at E3.
Definitely some Astro Chains, at least some kind with that probably.
Maybe Nier Automata getting.
Port. That would be wild. I want to say we could get more Persona 5, not a port, which I would love, but I don't think we're getting that just yet.
We'll probably get a Q version like we have for all the other games.
Well, I'm thinking I want to at least see, because we have Scramble, but I would like to see just an announcement. It doesn't have to be on Switch, but for Persona 5 Arena, I would love to see just that be announced at E3.
I totally forgot about Persona 5 Scramble.
And if we could get a Switch version of Dancing All Night, not that's 4 or whatever. What's the Persona 5 one? That's got a different name. Dancing something else. The dancing game for Persona 5 I would like to see on Switch.
Yeah, I don't play the Persona games, so I have no idea. Oh, we're definitely gonna see Ghostbusters. Because we've already got that announcement that is coming to all the systems. So it'd be nice to see some. They'll probably throw it in there in the, like that third-party reel that they always do at the end of the Direct. Speaking of the Direct, we do know that the Direct is going to be about 45 minutes this time, and without Smash eating up 20 minutes of that, I expect there to be a lot more game announcements, stuff that we don't know about yet. Now, we've made our weird and random predictions, but we never know what Nintendo's going to show. That's the thing. They said they want to focus on what's coming out for, the remainder of the calendar year, but it's inevitable that a couple of 2020 games will slip into there. And I'm excited to see what they show off. But that being said, we're going to be back next week to talk about that in our post-show analysis of E3. So, guys, remember, we're doing 3 weeks of E3. This is week 2. Next week, we're going to wrap it up. And there's so much stuff happening next week. We have the Super Mario Maker 2 championship. We have the Splatoon 2 World Championships, and we have the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate World Championships. Those are going to be fun events. Nintendo does tournaments, really fun. They have awesome commentary teams that work on those shows. They do a great job. We're going to have Nintendo Treehouse for 3 days this year. So we'll probably see some more Pokemon during the Nintendo Treehouse, if we're being honest. It's rare that even though it's like the Pokemon Company likes to show off the games on their own, they do always bring them to the Treehouse Live. We'll see some Mario Maker at Treehouse, most definitely. And, man, maybe we get Earthbound 3.
Whoa. What? Excuse you.
Maybe we finally get Earthbound 3.
Don't get people's hopes up.
They're like, hey, this game you guys have wanted for like 20-something years? Fine.
Okay.
Just leave us alone after this.
What are the odds of them giving us a remastered Mother trilogy? What is that a thing that could ever happen? I feel like it's
1 in like 17 quintillion.
It shouldn't be that high though. This should be actually really doable, even if it's just a straight trilogy or something. Like, I feel like that could be a cool thing.
Like, we know you guys want this game, but no. We've had it translated for years.
I mean, okay, so Nintendo's been doing some moves where it's not about the money or the sales for the game. It's about the demand by the small audience. That's why we're getting Metroid Prime 4. Like, that's not going to move units. That's not going to sell amazing, but it'll please the fans who want it.
It's true. Yeah, Nintendo does every now and then just give us what we actually want instead of what they say we want. So it'd be nice, man. It'd be nice to see Mother finally get that 3rd iteration, and then we can finally just all move on from it. Like those are like the last parts of like a really bad breakup, and like we just you crave that closure, but that other person won't give it to you. But you cling on to the hope that one day they're like, I'm going to tell you exactly why I broke up with you.
I feel like you're describing Nintendo and Square Enix's relationship and why we're not getting Super Mario RPG 2 or Mario Hoops 3-on-3 2.
Actually, I'm actually working on a video, a long-form video that breaks down the breakup of Nintendo and Square Enix. It's taken a lot of research. It's part of the reason why we had that hiatus that we had over the last month is because this project there's a lot to dissecting why these two companies had a falling out, but there's also a lot of stuff that happened afterwards, like how these companies existed without one another, like how did the landscape change in the time that they were exes, like that time where like they had broken up with each other and weren't talking to each other. So there's a lot to dissect. There are a lot of research and a lot of like figuring out how they repair that damaged relationship. So that's coming hopefully by the end of this calendar year, because it is going to be a long form video. I assume this video is probably going to take me a couple of weeks to record, edit, and whatnot. But I think it's gonna run about an hour and 15 minutes if my scripting doesn't get altered too much from where it is right now. But that being said, guys, there's not a whole lot to talk about left. There's not a whole lot left to talk about because we just don't know. So we should just go ahead. We're gonna wrap up this episode. But before we let you go, we gotta hit you up with these social media links. You can hit us up on Twitter at nice1983. You can email me at nice1983@gmail.com. You can hit me up on Facebook, facebook.com/Nintendo Power Zone. If you are a fan of the Nintendo Power Zone podcast, you can always download new episodes on iTunes, Google Play Music, stream new episodes on Spotify and Stitcher Radio. But if you want to watch the show live like you're doing right now, you gotta catch us right here on YouTube, youtube.com/Nintendo Power Zone. Blues, hit them up.
As always, you can follow me on Twitter at TheKingBlues. Same thing with Twitch and YouTube. Blues, as always, spelled BLOOZ.
All right. And guys, with that being said, we'll be back next week with our post E3 analysis episode. We're going to do that on Wednesday because we're going to let that Tuesday, we're going to let that direct sit with us for a little bit. We want to have time to watch it multiple times, analyze every little thing so that we can scrutinize it the next day. But guys, thank you so much for joining us this week. We'll be back in 7 days. So until then, keep it locked right here at the Nintendo Power Zone. Thank you so much. Deuces.